evening, Pittsburgh sports fans, and welcome to the Pittsburgh Sports Desk. Got a little bit of switched up lineup tonight. We've got some guys filling in for Ed. Ed's taking care of some family stuff. So we got John Phillips, Steel City Sunday, my cohort with that. We got Brian McCown, Mac, joining us. He was filled in for me a couple weeks ago, and Tracy. Man needs no introduction there. So, all right, gentlemen. So we got some things to talk about, a full slate of things to talk about when it comes to Pittsburgh sports. Just short synopsis, get into the Steelers and Bengals, talk a little bit about that. 34-12 win on Sunday. I don't know. Is that something you can hang your hat on? I don't know. We'll dive into that. We'll get into the Bears. I think this is a pretty big matchup this weekend. 7-3, and I want to ask you guys, 7-3. Is this a solid 7-3 Bears team? We'll get into that. Also want to get into Pitt versus Notre Dame. A lot of people, I think, expected this 37-15 defeat. I thought it was going to be a little bit closer than that, if you want my honest opinion. But they got schooled, and now you're facing Georgia Tech, and that's going to be a tough out going down to Atlanta to face the Ramblin' Wreck. So we'll look at that, get into that a little bit. Also want to talk about the backyard basketball and another rough night for Pitt on the hardwood. So we'll get into that and talk a little Penguins, talk Pirates. Paul Skeens winning the Cy Young. Also, there's a report out there. I'm sure you guys saw it about the Penguin or the Pirates maybe spending some money in this offseason, which I don't know how much can you believe of that? So we'll get into that too. And then Riverhounds won the Eastern Conference Final. They are in the USL Championship, and I know, John, you're going down there to cover that down in Tulsa, so you're going to make that trip. So we'll get into that. I mean, what an up and down season. I mean, you and I have talked numerous times in the booth. Just an up and down season, and just it's amazing that they were able to get this far. I mean, it's two of your first playoff games you win on penalty kicks, and then you win a game against a tough team in Rhode Island that can score goals. So, all right, without further ado, let's get into it. Bengals, Steelers win 34-12 on Sunday. Little bit of I don't know, what would you call it? Mason Rudolph coming in. Would you call it a little bit of an offensive boost? I mean, he was 12 for 16 passing, 127 yards and a touchdown. I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? I want to get your take. Mac, let's start with you. What'd you think of that performance?
I guess I would go right in and say adequate. I mean, he didn't light the board up, but again, they weren't prepared for this guy to play, so he did what he was supposed to. I don't think it was shameful. I don't think it was over the top exciting. So I think he did his job. He's arguably one of the best backups in football, but he is a backup. Let's not mistake it.
Right, and I just want to say this. I follow a lot of Steelers pages, and some of the things you see on these Steeler pages. I mean, there was one that it had him in a Superman costume, and it was like standing like this, and it said Superman is here. Like, come on, enough with this. Like, seriously. Like, I get so sick and tired of this, okay? Like, Aaron Rodgers is a way better quarterback than Mason Rudolph, okay? He is. Let's just, what is it with this love affair with Mason Rudolph? I just can somebody tell me?
Is he a better quarterback? Is he a better quarterback at 41 to be 42 soon?
Well, I think he is, John. I think he. Hey, okay. So 2023, Mason goes on a run, right? He wins us 3 games, gets in the playoffs. goes against Buffalo. I mean, he didn't have a great game. He had that interception in the end zone. Goes to Tennessee. Granted, I'm going to kind of give him a free pass. Tennessee was a train wreck. Bad team around him. But I don't know if you're a really good quarterback. I mean, I was always told, in watching football over the years, I've seen good quarterbacks go to bad teams and elevate the play around them. And you didn't see that when he went to Tennessee. Now he comes back here, and I don't know. I don't know what the love affair is with him, but John, what? Give me your take on that win. I know we did the post show. I pretty much know what you're going to say, but go ahead and hit me with it.
Well, I just look. First of all, Tennessee is not much of a barometer for success in the NFL. It's a bad franchise, and they're not very good. Look, Aaron Rodgers has been serviceable this year. He's been serviceable, and he has played well. Up until that Chargers game, he didn't look good. Obviously, none of them looked good in that contest. I mean, he hasn't hurt them. They just offensively have not been great. They lead the league in 3 and outs. Their third down conversion percentage is not good. That's a reflection on the quarterback. And it is a combination of things. It's Art Smith. It's the personnel. Right? How about maybe moving Jonnu Smith into that number 2 wide receiver position? How about we make some changes there and enable him instead of these 3 tight end looks, who in the, Paul Zeiss made a good point a couple weeks ago. Who in the NFL has been successful running 3 tight end looks? Nobody. But I'm diverting away from Rodgers. Look, if he says to Mike Tomlin, I can play, he's going to play, right? Does that make it right? I don't know. As for Mason Rudolph, he did his job on Sunday. He came in, he was 12 of 16. They benefited from the 2 defensive touchdowns. That certainly helped them. He just has to be serviceable. But if Rodgers was to suffer any kind of injury of any kind, you've got to give Mason a little bit more of a look. And I've never understood why Mike Tomlin, who this is Rudolph's 8th season, and I'll finish up with this. It's Rudolph's 8th season. He came into the league under Tomlin, but Tomlin has never been a fan of his. I just never understood it. I really haven't. But serviceable. He did his job on Sunday. He helped that team to victory, and we'll see what happens on Sunday against the Bears.
Trace, let me get your take.
I agree. I think he came in was serviceable. I mean, at least we got to look at him and see what he looks like going out there. Obviously, they didn't game plan for him or anything, and the defense surely helped by scoring a few points too. I don't fear if Aaron can't go on Sunday. I think Mason will do just fine, at least. I think it's a good thing then if we have all those tight ends in that big set, maybe we have to hand it off a little bit more if we don't trust Mason to throw the ball. But I think he'll do just fine. I think he might even have a better long ball at this point than Rodgers does. What say you, Bill?
Yeah, listen, I'm not saying that he's a bad quarterback. I think he's a great backup quarterback. I do. I guess what my gripe is with my gripe is with these fans that think he should be the guy. Like, and you see that. I mean, you saw that all over social media. Oh, they need to give him a chance. I mean,
well, Mark Madden tweeted out something where there's a whole bunch of fans hating on him. Like, so is there like a huge on both sides? Is there like a lot of love and hate coming at him?
What I saw from a lot of these Steeler pages that I follow is that there's people that are overwhelmingly and listen, I think Rodgers is going to play. I don't think he's, I think if there's, I mean, he's pushing to play. I mean, what are they going to do? Tell him no? I think he's going to play. This may be his last rodeo. This may be his last time facing the Bears. And he's owned the Bears. Let's face it. He's owned the Bears. Yeah,
but he owned the Bears in the prime of his career.
Right.
He owned them. And at 7-3, they are a bit of a fraud, Bill. So if there's any last hurrah, you might be right. This could be very well it at Soldier Field. But, it was in the prime of his career.
And I get it, John, and that's probably all the more reason why he wants to play this game, because he wants to show everybody, hey, I still have this team's number, And I don't know. That's just how I look at it. Hey, listen, if they somehow the Steelers, doctors, and they have great doctors, say, hey, listen, you could be putting yourself at a risk, injuring yourself more. And they advise him not to play, and he doesn't play, and Mason starts. I'm fine with that. I think Mason is very capable of coming in and backing up. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, Rudolph against the Bengals, 12 of 16, 127 yards. I mean, you faced the 31st worst passing defense in the league, right? So, I mean, is that something really to hang your hat on? I mean, it's a small sample size. We'll see. I mean, we'll see. But I do. I think Rodgers is going to play. All right. In this game, you had some defensive touchdowns. That you scored 2 touchdowns in the second half. One was that 73-yard interception by Kyle Duggar. By the way, how about him? I think he's been a very good addition for the Steelers. I'm liking what I'm seeing.
There's energy there, right, Billy? He puts pop when the hits, when the ball carriers are coming through. He's after the passes. Yeah, there's energy there.
Yeah.
Well, I have to chime in on that. He actually had a shot for another pick six earlier in that football game.
He did.
Telling you,
he did.
If he was a quarter step ahead of that, we might be talking about 2 of them.
Right.
They've certainly proven when they can force turnovers. It's always like any team. I mean, they're second in the league in turnovers. When they force turnovers, they win football games. That's been fairly evident this year. And Duggar played really well on Sunday as collectively against a bad football team. They have to play well against bad football teams. You have to beat these bad teams. You can't lose to them. It'll hurt you. But Duggar played extremely well, and he could have had a second touchdown.
Yeah. The other was the fumble recovery for a touchdown by James Pierre. That's another guy who played well. I thought he played really well on Sunday.
That's a couple games in a row now, Billy. It's been a trend. He's definitely on a good glide path.
Yeah.
Question on that is, if Slay's healthy, though, is he going to start? And he probably will. I don't get it either. That's a good point, Trace. He played very good the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Why would Slay play if he's ready?
And that was a question that I think our buddy Ray Fittipaldo asked Tomlin on that one. And you know what? I saw bits and pieces of the press conference on Tuesday. I didn't actually get his response on that. I was listening to the fan, and unfortunately, cut out right when he asked that question. But I guess a big story coming out of this game, and you don't really, wish a story like this would be a big story, but the spitting incident by, we did the post game show, and I know we ran the Tomlin, the Tomlin post game show on the Tomlin press conference on our post game show, and he was not happy with Jalen Ramsey, but it was funny because he went back and actually saw what happened, and in the Tuesday press conference kind of changed his tune on that and said, hey, you know what, when you get spit on by somebody, there's repercussions for that. That's just,
I think he said let instinct take over, didn't he?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
He said just let instinct take over.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly
what let your inner thoughts go, brother. That's what he was saying.
Yeah. Well, hey, all of us are men here. I know if somebody came up to me on the street and spit on me, my first instinct would be to deck them. I mean, I don't even care. It was the biggest guy spit on me, I'd still deck him, even though I was, maybe get my ass kicked. Who cares? I
agree with you, Bill, if that's on a street, but when you're in a professional setting and you're setting the football field, you're jeopardizing your team.
No, I agree with that.
So
valid point, Matt.
You got juvenile behavior, you're going to get juvenile result.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I mean,
we were all quick to, get into Jalen Ramsey for what happened.
Right.
It just goes to show you don't get all the story or the context of it as it comes later. I want to personally apologize for what I said. I mean, everybody was on the same page. Why is he doing this? What's going on? This game is still in jeopardy. This game is still in doubt. He's got to be better than that. Turns out he was right. And again, these guys, I think they can take a lot, especially the jarring part. Right? I think they understand that part of it, but when somebody spits on you, I don't blame them.
I get it, John. I get it, John, but he's definitely not right. Jalen Ramsey's very few times he's right. He does. I agree with you that the spitting happened, but he's got to be bigger and better than that. He's a cornerstone for us. I get it. I do get it.
He's an important piece, no question about it. I think, and it's taken me a long time to kind of think in this manner, but unless you put yourself in that spot, it's hard to. It's hard, you know what I mean? And again, I've like a lot of people have had a little time to reflect over this. That's very personal. When somebody's spitting on you, that's real personal.
No disagreement.
So yeah, I'm good with it. I'm good with what he did. It is what it is.
Yeah, that's the lowest of the low, in my opinion. I mean, some people would say, "Hey, sucker punching is better than spitting on somebody." But either way, it was an ugly situation. And to me, there's just no place in sports for something like that.
You got to find a lot of money. It was like 500,000 or something like that, and then it's like almost $60K a game the rest of the season, I think.
Yeah, and as he should. It was a punk. It was a punk move. I mean, it's and. I agree, John. We were quick to judge because we really didn't see. I mean, you didn't see. If it wasn't for that camera angle on the sideline, that cameraman on the sideline, nobody would have known. I mean, Yeah,
100%, and that just goes. There's everybody has a camera, everybody has a phone. People are getting shots of things that later come out to be proof of evidence that something is amiss from the story. So we move on, and I'm sure Jalen Ramsey will seek some sort of revenge down the road, maybe perhaps if he faces him again.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, he's a great player, and I agree. It's kind of a double-edged sword. You don't want to see something like that happen. You're initially mad at the reaction, but you're kind of like, But you lose a guy like that. I mean, that he's a pivotal part of that defense, and So, all right, let's get into Steelers and Bears.
Bears.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, what do you think? I mean, is this team for real? 7-3. A lot of people are saying kind of no. Like, a lot of people are saying that this team is. I know our buddy, John Rustino, that I do the Gridiron Weekly show with. He's a Bears fan, and he kind of just, he kind of just, I don't know. He has his doubts about this team. I will say one thing. I think Caleb Williams is starting to turn into a decent quarterback. I mean, this kid, I like what I see out of him. But I don't know. I think this is going to come down to the Bears offense versus Steelers pass defense. When you look at it, Caleb Williams has an array of targets. He's got Rome Odunze. He's got DJ Moore. He's got Cole Kmet. He's got that Colston Loveland. I mean, he has weapons. He has weapons around him. I think he's done a pretty good job utilizing those weapons. I don't know. How's this Steelers pass defense, going to size up to these guys? I don't know, And like I said, the whole thing with Rodgers and the wrist injury, it's uncertain right now. I guess they're going to make a decision on Friday. He plans on practicing. I think he's going to walk through tomorrow and actually have a full practice on Friday, I think is what they said. But, you know, and yeah, I don't know. You know, that's another topic too. I mean, you know, should he go? I mean, really, should he play? You know, I mean,
what's wrong with resting him right now for a game or two if he needs it, right? And then the actual home stretch, then we have him fresh.
Well, listen, this is an NFC game. I mean, why? You know, if this was against the Ravens, I could say, okay, you know, if this, you know, he can, you know, give you the better chance.
It's all going to depend on how he can take the ball from center. It's his left wrist. So is he having pain? Is he able to handle that football
right
when he takes the ball from center, when he goes in Thursday or Friday or whatever day this is? That's going to dictate it, and nothing else should.
Yeah. They put him in shotgun mostly, but here, let's talk about the Bears for a minute. We've already talked a little bit about Rodgers, and there's nothing wrong with talking about him a little bit more. But let's actually look at the Bears for a minute, okay? 7-3 football team. Their point differential, gentlemen. Do you know what their point differential is right now?
No.
-6.
Yeah.
It's -6. It's almost statistically impossible when you're a 7-win team 10 games into this season. Okay, let's go a little further. Okay. Their 3 losses, right? Ravens, they lost the season opener to the Vikings, and then they lost to the Lions. Of those 3 losses, 2 of them are to teams that are 500 or better, -45 point differential in those 2 games. Okay, -45 point differential. They've beaten a 4-win Cowboys team. They've beaten a 2-win Raiders team. That was by 1 point. They beat the Commanders, who have, I think, 3 wins by 1 point. The Saints with 2 wins. The Bengals, the 2-9 Giants, and the victory over the Vikings most recently. So those teams are a combined 19 for 50. 19 for 50. So this is not a particularly great team, but like the Steelers, they're beating the teams they need to. It's going to come down to if we can force some turnovers. I don't care who's at quarterback right now. If we force a couple of turnovers, and one other thing I'll say before I stop, Caleb Williams holds the ball longer on his pass attempts, just longer than just about anybody in the NFL. And we've talked about how the Steelers have had problems the last few weeks. These guys that get the ball out quick, Jordan Love, Flacco, you know, a couple of others preceding them. He holds the ball for quite a bit of time, quite a bit of time, being like 3/4 of a second longer. It's like about 3.25 seconds. That could play a role. They've got to force at least 2 turnovers, and these 2 teams are tops in turnovers in the league. Should be an interesting game Sunday for sure.
Yeah, and John, very good. I mean, that you know, I love your insight on that about how, you know, these differential and everything like that. Also, I wanted
to analysis.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to say, I'll take it a little further. There's been a lot of close games for the Bears. They've been winning close games. 5 of their 7 victories were decided in the final quarter. They've had a lot of close wins, you know. Defensively too with the Bears, you know, they create turnovers. Byard, he leads the league right now in interceptions for them. You know, they're going to look to, you know, to take advantage of any mistakes, regardless of who's in there, Rudolph or Rodgers. You know, they're gonna try to take advantage of any mistakes, and you know, so I mean, run game. I mean, you know, that they've got a pretty strong running attack as well. You know, so.
Well, what do you think of our response to that? Right, so it's Richardson 50. They bring in. Well, we know they're going to run the ball, and when they're going to throw the ball, they bring in 41 is it or 51? And if the personnel aren't right, I'm not sure why we're drafting guys that we can't have for the first 3 downs. Like I don't like how they interchange it so much that you're not sure what you're going to get, and I almost feel like it plays against them sometimes, and that's why we're seeing the tight ends wide open in the middle at different like plays, even the play action. We're biting right on it right now because we're just stacked up for the run.
Everything's so specialized now too with these position players. Everything, right?
Yeah.
Nick Herbig can't play against the run. He's in there for pass. He sees only so many plays. I agree with you, right? You have situational players that are coming in because they can just defend the ball against the pass. This guy can just defend the ball against the run. Wasn't like that, but now the game has evolved, or it's different. Is it different? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. I think Herbig should have been seeing more playing time. I don't care if he's bad against the run. He's got to get better one way, being in there against the run. Get him in there against the run. It's the only way he's going to improve. But,
Let me jump in here on cleanup if I can on these Bears, boys. I agree with you. Are the Bears overinflated? Of course they are. They're 7-3, and as John pointed out, the point differential, and they beat basically paper mache, head to toe. They played the school for the blind. We all know that. All right. The fact, though, they do got a solid running game. They're averaging almost 5 yards a carry. Caleb Williams can even run. They got two guys. They got that Swift, and they got the other guy, that Montague. They're both running the football well. And when Caleb Williams runs the ball, he's running for 5.5 yards a carry. He's ran the ball for over 50 times this year, So they got to watch out for that guy. And the receiving core, there's 3 or 4 guys that have 35 catches. I mean, DJ Moore, they got a Dunze, they got that Zacchaeus kid. They got some players. I mean, I know they're a paper mache 7-3, but they're not a bad football team. They are not.
Yeah, no. Cole Kmet, I mean, he's been, he's been, but hey, you know what? When Ben Johnson took over, he said he wanted to establish a strong running attack, and he's done that thus far. I agree with that.
They're top 5 in the league in running.
Yeah.
I might be wrong on that, but I know they're up there.
What's the weather looking like for Sunday?
Cold and windy.
I can't wait. It's been a while since I've seen a Bears game like this. It makes me think of Bettis running over Urlacher,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good memory, Trace.
Yeah, that's a great memory. In the snow.
A while ago, buddy.
Yeah. So
we need to do that again, huh, Mac?
Yeah.
Throw the ball to Washington and see if he can do her.
I mean, what's your take overall, guys, on Caleb Williams?
I'll jump in. I mean, I think at times he's a top 10 quarterback in football, but then he looks like he's in his second year. A whole quarter sometimes. The guy has the tools, but I think up top is where he's got to solidify his whole game. He has the tools, and he plays like a top 10 guy often, but he'll settle back, and he's just inconsistent. I think he's young. He'll grow. I think he's going to be a very, very solid guy to push forward. I really do.
John, Trace, any thoughts?
No, go ahead.
I think that we've been game planning against Lamar Jackson for years, and I think it's going to be a little bit comparable to that, especially if he holds onto the ball for a little while. I just think that our defense should be rather comfortable with going against us, even with the amount of turnover we had. It should be relatively easy to communicate what our game plan is here. Hopefully it translates as well. Go ahead, John.
I think it'll come down to turnovers. Can we win the turnover differential? Yeah, I think we'll be able to marginalize their running game at times. Maybe we'll see. Can Williams do enough to beat them? But the team that wins the turnover battle in this one should win this game. Yeah.
All right, let's go around and let's pick a score here. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 27. I'm going to go 27-23 Steelers. Mac.
I'll go 24-21 Bears. I think they're going to nip them at the end. Home field's going to be the deciding factor. Not as many turnovers for either side. So,
all right, John.
Jesus, I think I'm 0 for my last 7 in these predictions with them. I'm going to say Bears 27, Steelers 24. In the hopes that I'm wrong again.
Yeah. Trace.
17-13 Steelers.
Okay. So 2 picked Steelers, 2 picked Bears. Well, it's we'll see. We'll see. It's a prediction. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But so
they're both overinflated teams at their record, 6-4 and 7-3. We'll find out like a little more for each one of them.
Yeah. Before we move on, who you like? If Rodgers, if he is, cleared by the staff to play, and we know he's pushing to play. Are you comfortable with him being in there, or would you like to see Mason Rudolph in there and see what he can do? Go ahead.
Talking
If Aaron's ready to go,
me?
you play him.
Yeah, I want Mason to play. I want him to play the rest of the season. What's Rodgers going to do for us this year? You know what I mean? Like, where are we going with Aaron Rodgers at this point in time? Are we going to the Super Bowl? The answer is no. The answer is no. We're not. We're not a good football team. We know why. It's the head coach. It's the guy who runs football operations. I don't want to talk about this much anymore. I want to see Mason Rudolph play to the end of the year, till the end of the year. Then we can decide. And don't talk about Will Howard. Anybody continues to mention Will Howard, you are banned for life. Banned for life. Sixth-round draft pick. Hasn't seen a snap all year, really.
Right.
Has not seen a single snap with first team, even in the preseason. He was injured, I believe it was. Just please stop. Let's play Mason Rudolph the rest of the year. See what you actually have with a halfway decent team. See what he can do. And then you can decide where you're at in 26.
Yeah.
But that makes too much sense. And we're not there in that building every single day, and I get that. And I talked to Todd Haley about this off the air. I talked to a couple of other people. We're not in that building. We don't understand. We don't know the real insides. But me personally, Rudolph the rest of the year, I don't care what Rodgers says. Cut him, send him home, send him his money, whatever it is. We're not going anywhere with him. This is it for him. This is a 9-8 team with Rodgers at best.
Yeah. Mac?
I would play Aaron Rodgers, no doubt. If he's healthy, I play him. You brought him in here for a reason. I hear everybody anointing this guy the greatest coming again. It's his second time being here. If he was something, we would have kept him. We don't believe in him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a backup guy, and he's solid at backup. But we already know what we got. Why are we playing him?
Yeah.
But I do agree with John with Will Howard. I'm not even.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, that's just ridiculousness. The guy hasn't even taken an NFL snap yet. Yeah. Okay, he got hurt right before preseason was out. I mean, he is, I'm with you on that. I mean, enough of that. I mean, that's not
who's the most popular player on a football team?
The quarterback,
the
backup quarterback. Backup quarterback is always the most popular.
Yeah, it always is. Yeah. Yeah. Trace, get your take on it.
I don't. Either way, if Rodgers plays, I think we'll be all right. He's going to get to our mediocre Mike, as everybody's stating. But I mean, unless something else changes, I don't see anything wrong with Mason taking over either. I think that he has a fresher leg, maybe even a better long ball. I don't know if he's got the ability like Aaron to change the plays or whatnot, but he's definitely a journeyman. I think they're both serviceable. I don't think that this is a deep playoff team, but I mean, I'd be content with either quarterback to answer your question, William.
And that's, I mean, I'm leaning more towards Rodgers, but I kind of want to see what Mason could do as well. So that's
maybe they rotate them every other play. Rotate them every other play, maybe.
Spurrier style. Let's do it.
Yeah.
The old ball coach. The old ball coach.
Yeah, the old ball coach. So yeah. So all right. Let's move on. Let's talk Pitt. Notre Dame, Pitt Notre Dame, 37-15. I tell you what, Jeremiah Love just torched them. 147 rushing yards, touchdown. CJ Carr just picked the Panthers apart. Malachi Fields, 2 scores to him. The Notre Dame's defense was stifling. They held Pitt just to 219 yards, total yards. It was a rough day at the office on Saturday. Pitt's offense struggled. Okay. I mean, Mason Heinschel, his first loss as a starting quarterback. One thing I see with Heinschel, you don't always have to make the big play every time, right? And I know that's something for, that's something you see a lot of times with a young quarterback, is that they always want to try to every play. They want to try to make the big play, but throw it away. It's best sometimes to throw it away and be smart about it. I mean, and like I said, it was a rough day at the office. What do you guys think? Trace, let's start off with you.
I mean, we kind of said that, right? That's what me and Eddie were talking about last week. We kind of saw it. It was going to be a rough outing. Hopefully, maybe they could put something together. That defense could swarm. Maybe this young kid can maybe create in space or something like that. And both things did not happen, Bill. I think that's what happened.
Well, it was the number one rushing attack in college football. Going
it
up
appeared
against,
to be so.
Yeah, going up against a top 3 running defense, and
Also apparent.
Yeah,
that's how it looked.
Right. Yeah, and I mean,
it looked appropriate. So I think they're falling right in position. Then I mean, we're still looking like they're going to be in a bowl game. It's going to be a fun and successful season. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and I tell you what, you can say what you want about him.
And then there were 5.
Yeah, you can say what you want about him, but Narduzzi needs to. He lets his emotions get in the way at times of coaching and game planning, and making an asinine statement that if we lose, it really doesn't mean anything. I mean, that's just I for the life of me, I don't understand why you would make a statement like that. And I don't know. He does some really stupid ass things sometimes. John, what'd you think of the game? What was your take on that?
I have lived for this moment since you asked me to come on and do this show.
Let's hear. I knew you were going to be fired up on this one. So,
well, as somebody who has covered my fair share of press conferences, and from baseball to football to hockey to whatnot, I have never in my life ever heard a head coach come out in front of a bunch of media people and tell them that this game means absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. This game is meaningless. This game is, I think that's what he said. This game is meaningless, or it means nothing. Something to that context. If I was Alan Green, I would have fired him immediately following that football game. I would have fired him immediately following that football game. That is, and he came out and apologized later. I saw that he apologized and said he was sorry. Would have terminated him on the. Should have terminated him probably right after the press conference, but certainly after the football game. It is such an egregious mistake on his part. And after, what is this, year 12 for him? I think it's year 12, 11 or 12.
Yeah.
If I'm Alan Green, I would have. He should have been terminated at the end of that football game, or on Sunday at the latest. It was such a detriment to the program and those players. That game was important for a variety of reasons, because it was Notre Dame, right? Because it was which is I think Pitt is their oldest active rival, or their 4th or 3rd oldest active rival. It was such a big event. They were retiring Aaron Donald's number. All these alumni. I mean, Tony Dorsett, who's suffering from Parkinson's, is there, and to come out and it's a slap in the face of the program. 130 years of Pitt football. Just disgraceful, really, quite honestly. And yeah, I know they're trying to play for an ACC championship. You can't say something like that. You cannot say anything like that. It's to me, it's a fireable offense. And look, Green didn't hire this guy, and
right.
And that goes to a deeper question, and that's NIL. Okay, they're never going to have the money to compete. They're never going to have the money to compete with the Big Ten or the SEC, right? Their TV deals are way superior. They have way more money. And, the people that are involved in the 12-team, deciding the 12-team college playoff, a lot of these people are connected to these conferences. It looks like Tulane's going to get in right now over South Florida, which makes no sense. BYU should be in. But the traditional powers are going to get theirs, as they always do, but they don't have the ability to compete in the NIL. And if I was Alan Green, I'd fire him immediately. I would have fired him immediately. Just a disgraceful that he even said that.
Mac.
Well, I'll go back to your Heinzel comment. I think he does hold the ball too long, especially in this game. He took 4 sacks. He had a pick or two. I think he
Yeah,
only had one. He only had one, I
yeah.
think. And
16 to 33, 126 yards.
All right, a buck and a quarter. So Love dominated, like you said. He just ran through them like Metamucil. Malachi Fields took 2 catches. I mean, they just dominated the football game. As for Narduzzi, if he doesn't make that comment, I would defend the hell out of him. But you're right, John. It's just I don't know why you would do that. Fireable. I don't know if I go that far because I don't know what you're going to replace him with. I agree with you with the nil thing. They're not going to get somebody to come in there to give out these checks. And so it's tough to replace a guy like a Narduzzi that can give you your 8, 9 wins. So it's tough. It's Dave Wannstedt all over again.
Maybe. Here's the thing. You've got to, first of all, these colleges, and I think they're starting to maybe learn a little lesson here. Stop giving these guys $50 million buyouts.
Well,
that's number one.
Yeah.
Start with that, number one. Number two, why not bring in a young coach? Why not bring in a young coach and pay him less and take a fresher approach to what the game is today, more of a modern. And I'm not saying a Pitt doesn't play that kind of style, but it's outrageous that the a 50 million, I think Narduzzi's is like 32 million or something like that. Before the colleges have to stop with the big buyouts. I think if you see something in that trend, maybe it's a little easier to get rid of a Narduzzi, but he's not going anywhere unless somebody's going to foot that bill.
Which domino is going to fall first, though, John? Someone's got to do that. And I agree with you.
Right.
Hats off to you. I'm putting money in your plate. You can preach all day. I love it.
Right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Well, look, if Texas A&M didn't learn from Jimbo Fisher, if LSU hasn't learned from Chip Kelly, if Penn State hasn't learned from James Franklin, I could go on and on and on. Kelly twice. I mean, he left Notre Dame to go to LSU. So I mean, look, I mean, it's crazy. It's nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, Sam Levitt. Let's talk about NIL for a second. Did you see the report on Sam Levitt? His camp is shopping him. He's not going to be at Arizona State next year. Where are we at with all of this? It's the wild west.
Let me tell you how to fix that. I think they need to make contracts. I think they need to do that.
Would have been a nice idea when they put this together, but hey, why would the NCAA or anybody else involved in college football put any sense into anything? No,
they've created a monster, and they are, they've made their bed, so to speak, and now they got to lie in it.
When they started this, they had that talk, Bill, about CEOs right out of the top, and that's dwindled. Nobody hardly mentions that anymore, and it is a business. So, do you need a CEO? Probably. You guys are all right.
Yeah. Well, I think they need contracts. I mean, it's just. It's very hard to be a college coach right now, especially I'm not, like I said, I defend Narduzzi to a point, but especially in a program like this that doesn't have a lot of NIL money, it's hard. You lose guys, you can't keep guys, you got to keep.
About 40 schools have actual NIL money. About 40. Right. Most of I'd probably say, I don't even know how many more in the Big Ten now. It's like the Big 20. Let's say 14 of those schools have money. 14 of the SEC have them. Maybe a handful in the Big 12, handful in the ACC. They're the ones that actually have money. It's not even the same game that we grew up watching.
No,
it's not only money, John. It's filthy money.
Yeah.
Well, but it's legal now, right? They don't have bagmen like they used to, right? The old John Wooden, the bagman, right? There was somebody wrote a book about that years ago. So, it's legalized. It's legalized thievery. And by the way, that's why Nick Saban is no longer head coach at Alabama.
Yes,
exactly.
He was smart. He was smart. He saw what was going to happen, what was starting to happen.
He was very verbal on the way out, John. He still says it and stands by it today. And I agree with him wholeheartedly.
Well, he said, I remember him making the comment. He said, we used to do the breakfast for the parents every year. And he said, we would always sit down, me and my wife, with the parents, and, they would take care of my son, and he goes, now, my last couple of years, how much money am I going to be making? That's all they were, I'll tell you what, it's the college football has become a lot of, like you said, 40 schools have NIL money. It's like the Steinbrenner approach, let's go out and, we've got
money
the money
that allows them to try to compete year in and year out, right? We're really
Right.
talking about probably 20 schools, right? Let's track it over the next 5 years. Who gets into the college football playoff? It's going to be the same teams. It's going to be Ohio State. It's going to be Georgia. It's going to be Alabama. It's, you know what I mean? Like it's the same players every single year, just about. You get a few that are interchanged out here or there. They're allowing one of the P5s to get in. They've got an at-large, couple of it's all the same schools, Texas, you name it. They just change them out every couple of years.
Yeah. Well, we went down a little rabbit hole on that one, but I mean, no, it's definitely worth talking about. All right.
Many talks though.
Yeah.
Also buy the championships.
Not going to get any easier this weekend for Pitt. They're going to go to Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's a great team. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for them. When you look at it, I mean, Georgia Tech leads the nation right now in total offense. They're averaging 496 yards per game. Can you believe that? When you look at it, Haynes King, this kid has been just instrumental to how the team has succeeded. He's averaging 330 yards of total offense per game. They've got a great rushing attack. They're coming off a whooping of actually no, it was a close game against Boston College. But the offense is prolific with Georgia Tech. However, the defense has struggled at times, particularly in their last two games. Like I said, they won a close game against Boston College, 36-34. So what do you guys looking at in this game? What are you thinking? Mac, I'm going to go with you first.
Well, I mean, Georgia Tech's coming in here pretty strong. I mean, they're 9-1. They're competing for the title, the championship game if they win this. Their offense is solid. They're averaging, like you said, 500 yards a game. I mean, the King kid, he's a player. He has, 14, 15 touchdowns himself rushing the football. I mean, he could play, and I agree with you with the defense. They're pretty weak, but it's not like the Panthers are coming in here as a juggernaut on the O side of the ball. It's just, they got a tough task, and it's in Atlanta, so I don't know how they win.
Yeah, Trace,
not built to win a shootout. I don't see how we're going to keep up with this team unless the defense comes up strong a couple times and the offense performs a few of those miracles. Other than that, I'm not sure how we're going to do, but it could be entertaining to watch. I don't know.
Yeah. John?
I mean, you've got the 10th best rushing offense in college football against the 9th best rushing defense in college football. That's where it's going to come down to. I mean, look, I think Pitt can exploit them through the passing game. Heinschel, their pass defense is like 108th or something like that. It's not very good, Georgia Tech, but can they stop? Can they slow the running game down? They're not going to stop the running game, but if they can stop them or slow them down to running maybe for half of what they normally do, I think they run for like 245 yards a game or something like that. If they can limit them to half of that, 130, 140, they got a much better chance. If they give up 200 plus rushing, then Georgia Tech's controlling the football, and it's going to be a long day for Pitt. But hey, this game's important, folks. Not like the last one they played. This game's important.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I think we found Narduzzi's replacement.
They'll go dead last in every category if that were the decision.
All right, let's switch gears here and let's talk what happened on the hardwood last Thursday night. The backyard basketball, just a whooping by the Mountaineers, 71-49. Mac, I know you Mac, grew up Pitt fan, but daughter goes to WVU, so I mean, when you write that tuition check, I mean, I don't think you don't have a pit hat on like me when you write that tuition check, correct?
I do not, Bill, and geography does play a part, but I'm allegiant to my checkbook and wallet. So speaking like a guy that pays the bill, I was happy with the drubbing. They smoked them by 20. They're big down low.
Yes.
It was pretty dominant. They got a 7-footer in the center. That Lorient kid can rebound and score. And, they got a freshman that just came in, and he's pretty hot. So that team can get good. DJ Thomas. He just scorched somebody, a side school. They didn't start play yet, but he scored 25. So he's a sixth man now. They're looking to elevate him to come up and possibly push Huff or Floyd out of the scenario. That kid can handle the ball and he can shoot it too.
Yeah. Well, Pitt started off strong. God, they had a 21-14 lead in the first half. But, West Virginia answered. They went on an 18-2 run. Yeah. They go on an 18-2 run, and they go up 32-23 and finish the half with a 34-25 lead. And, Pitt missed its final 8 shots of the first half.
They look around for that Corin kid to run everything. You know what I mean? Like, I know he's their guy. He rebounds the ball. He brings like 15 boards down every time he plays. You know what I mean? But he's a double guy. So, but other than that, they got a couple shooters in their guards, and that's about it. Their other guys don't do nothing. That's Silla Putty. I don't know what his name is.
Yeah. But and Mountaineers open the second half. They go on a 12-0 run. Yeah. I mean, and it was just from that point in time, it was over. I mean, you could just, they attempted a little bit of a comeback, Pitt did, but they at one point they cut the deficit to 10 points. But but then there was another 13-0 run after that, and and that was to close out the game. What do you guys think about Pitt? I mean, what do you think? I mean, I don't know. I mean, John, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's pretty simple. Jeff Capel, this is his 8th year, right? He's slightly above 500 head coach. He's won 7 more games than he's lost at this point. Okay. Not, and again, I don't, the NIL money is different at the college basketball level than it is obviously for football. But Capel is just a very, and look, and I was part of the group that was like, hey, Jamie Dixon, you've run your course here, right?
Yeah.
Can we get Jamie Dixon back? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Can we buy him back away from, It's Capel's not the answer. He's had plenty of time. If you take away all the cupcake victories. Like if you take away all the, the Longwoods and, Youngstown States, could you imagine what his Like I may have to actually go back and do this research just for the fun of it and just see where he actually stands. He's not the answer. He's not the answer. He doesn't recruit, can't get the recruits he needs. That's a part with the money. But the reality of it is he's just hasn't been as good as Pitt had hoped he would be with that pedigree coming from, Tobacco Road.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I think everybody was, head over heels when he came, and this is a Krzyzewski product. He coached under Krzyzewski. He has that type of philosophy, and it's just kind of, I don't know. He's kind of he's underachieved in my opinion. Trace, what do you think?
I think it's a tough year to be a Panthers fan. I'm pretty sure we need to revisit this backyard again, man. Growing up, you have a hard time in the backyard one day. I don't know about you. I go home, eat some meat and potatoes, go back out next day and see what was what. Hopefully we can start running this thing back somehow here for next year, because this year was not fun to watch these games, Bill. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Well, Trace, you love home, so you can start singing it. Take me there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was not a very good outing last week. I was very disappointed in what I saw. So, all right, let's. I know we're running out of time here. All right, let's move on real quick. Let's talk a little Pirates. Paul Skeens, Cy Young Award winner, posting a 1.97 ERA, striking out 216 batters. What do you guys think about what he said about he wants to be a winner with Pittsburgh? Lots of luck with that, their big guy. What did you guys think of that? Matt, go ahead.
I mean, it's admirable. I mean, again, the guy's in his second year. He's established himself as, the greatest pitcher in baseball currently as we speak. Yeah. I don't think there's any question. He comes off a rookie year, and then he comes in and he surpasses that, and he's a half run better than any other pitcher in the game. I mean, I know he's 10-10, but with that lineup, it's amazing that he won 10.
Right. I mean, because he's become the first pitcher in 40 years to win a Rookie of the Year and a Cy Young Award in consecutive seasons, by the way. And he received all 30 first place votes, making him the unanimous winner. John, what do you think?
Well, he's being a leader by saying these things. I mean, that's
absolutely
what's remarkable about him. I mean, he's that's a quality that maybe some coaches in Oakland might want to think about. But he's being a leader. He's saying the right things. But internally, he's thinking, how much time do I have left on my contract? Right. How much time do I have left on my contract? He's talked. He spoke a little bit about the displeasures of hey, maybe we need to be better. And I know you're going to get to the whole hey, the Pirates are going to spend more money thing. Who's still the owner of this team?
That would be Mr. Bob Nutting.
Yeah, so they're not going to spend any money this offseason. Correct. I mean, what are we even talking about? So I've kind of rid myself of the Pirates for the most part. I stopped going to games in 2016. My mother allowed me to start going to baseball games on my own when I was 14 years old. That's 1984. I'd take the bus down and go to games, and I've loved the Pirates. Baseball was the only game I could play as a kid because sub-average kids of my athletic ability were allowed to play. So it's hard to see the franchise obviously the way it is right now, and they're in the second phase of a rebuild. Whatever it is, they're not going to spend any money. Who wants to come here? Let's just say they had the money. Who's coming here? These guys want nightlife. They want a big vibrant city. We're not. It's just not. It's frustrating. And by the way, Bob Nutting's still the owner, just in case anybody thought that might have changed in the last few minutes. They're not going to spend any money.
I want to compliment you, John. I don't understand how you realized what phase we were in. We're in phase 2?
I may be. It's a phase 22, phase 207. I have no idea. Phase
it's every year. It's
phase ad nauseum.
It seems like this when I hear Ben Cherington talk, when I hear Ben Cherington talk, I want to just like throw myself down a flight of stairs or something. He drives you up a wall. 2024. Oh, we're going to be competitive in 2026. I mean, nothing ever pans out, and it's because you don't spend the money. That's why, folks. You don't spend the money. We got Cecilia, as usual. Excellent show, gentlemen. Who's the new guy?
Who's the new guy?
Trace, what'd you think about Paul?
I think
Trace, what'd you think about Paul's scheme?
I think he's well deserved. I think that everybody hit the nail on the head. I think it's professionalism with the even interviews is coming through, and if they don't just astronomically pay this guy and build around him, then they're fools.
Yeah, well, they're fools. What about this Post-Gazette article? So before we came on the air, I just basically, took a glance at it. So they're saying what? That they're going to spend money, or that there's talk of spending money. It said something about the Pirates could be on the verge of splurging. Is how the article headline read. Just a bunch of fluff, in my opinion. So.
Yeah, it's nonsense. I mean, it's just it's a clickbait article, maybe at best. And again, who's the owner of this franchise? Oh yeah, they're not spending any money. What are we even talking about? It just it is hard to read. It's hard to stomach when you see something like that, and you realize, it's a national media writer just trying to gain a little attention or something like that. They're not spending any money.
Yeah,
It's spot on. It's horoscope talk when they talk about, there's going to be money in your future. Yeah. Are you a Sagittarius, a Taurus, or a Gemini? That's horoscope talk. Nothing's going to happen.
Yeah. All right, let's transition to Penguins. Penguins fresh off coming back from Sweden. Had a two-game series with the Predators, losing in overtime 2-1 on Friday night, and then putting a whooping up on them. John, we were actually watching that when we were getting ready for the pregame show. Put a whooping on the Predators 4-0 on Sunday. They come back Friday night to face the Wild. You know what, guys? I don't know. I'm a little bit surprised this year on how the Penguins are doing. It's kind of I don't know. I mean, it's early. It's early yet. I know just looking at some headlines, I saw Tristan Jarry return to practice.
Oh, great.
Yeah, exactly. Koivunen, I know they placed on an injured reserve. He's week to week. They've been performing, I think, a little bit better. I mean, moved into their top three in the number 3 in the Metropolitan. So I don't know. What do you guys think about the Penguins thus far? John, I'm going to start with you.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, me too.
Shocked. It's like they've found a fountain of youth. We'll see how long it lasts. They're off to a really good start. I think they're 18, 19 games in or something like that. I mean, it's positive. It's great. But these guys are at the back end of their career, and maybe you get a good run out of them, and it's nice to see. I'll say that much. Having watched this team since the early 1980s, you've seen all these different evolutions of the franchise, right. And you're getting a great last run out of the arguably the second greatest player in the history of the franchise. Say
right.
Second greatest player in the history of the franchise, and
right.
It's nice to see. Hopefully, it'll continue.
I like what Dan Muse has done with the lineups. I think he's done a very good job with the lineups. I like some of his pairings. I was very skeptical on him, and really because of his resume. He didn't really have too much. There wasn't much there. He didn't have a lot of. He was an assistant coach, I know, for the Predators and for the Rangers, but there wasn't a lot. Well, there wasn't any head coaching experience. I mean, the guy's got to start sometime, right? I mean, but I don't know. I was very skeptical, but I like what he's done thus far with a lot of the pairings and a lot of the lineups, especially the Malkin line. I like what he's doing there. And the goaltending's been good too. I mean, Shilov's and not Jari, the other guy. Escaping me right now. They've been solid. I mean, really, they've been solid. But like you said, we're only 18, 19 games in. And what? How are they going to be? Where are they going to be at in January and February is what I want to know. So, but
I agree with you guys on the lineup shaking. But the biggest point is the attitude when you see these guys on the ice. You can tell that there's a change in the atmosphere. I'm not saying there's a fountain of youth by any means, but it's like Christmas. Every once in a while, you got that present that you wasn't expecting it. And boy, shocked is right, John. I am just pleasantly thrilled to watch Penguins hockey when they have a chance to win. They're in the playoff hunt. I just hope it continues. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and like I said, Brazeau and Malkin, great pairing. Brazeau, Malkin, Mantha, great
There's
pairing.
chemistry in all the two top lines. I think it's the back end where we'd want to improve at this point and get rid of Jari as well.
Yeah. Well, Dubas should have never signed him to that 5-year deal. That was the dumbest thing.
I don't know why you love him so much, Billy.
I've never said I love him. I've never. Trace, you like to mess with me on that, I know. But
when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie.
That's Amore.
Yeah, no, not me. All right, let's close it out here, gentlemen, with the Riverhounds. Advanced to the first ever USL Championship final. Going to be against FC Tulsa on Saturday. They won the Eastern Conference Final 1-0 against Rhode Island. Robbie Mertz getting that game-winning goal. I don't know, John. I mean, you and I cover the team. It couldn't have gotten much better that last game. I mean, Mertz scoring, Pittsburgh native. I mean, you have a 5-game shutout streak. It's been amazing. I mean, it was an up and down season, and it's amazing that they were able to get to here. What do you think about their chances against FC Tulsa? John.
Well, they're gonna face a tough test. I mean, this is the best team in the West. They've got a plus 20 goal differential. They've got a striker who's I think second in the league with 17 goals on the year. They're going to be probably 10,000 people at this game on Saturday. I'm really looking forward to covering it. I go back to the naming of this franchise when I was doing evenings on Ardmore Boulevard. I helped name this team. I was their media relations director the first year. They've been through a lot. I mean, they didn't play in 2007. They were vagabonds. They played at Bethel Park. They played at Chartiers Valley. They played at the Wild Thing Stadium. They didn't have a home until 2013. Then they went into bankruptcy. And Tuffy Schallenberger steps up and takes over command of this franchise. Then they hire Bob Lilly, and they've made the playoffs every single year under him. I know that the administrative leave thing has been a shadow. I've been really digging on this story the last 4 or 5 days. I'm going to have a report. I'm going to have a story for the Trib after the game is done. I could probably put this report out now, but I'm not. I don't want it to distract from what's taking place. There is a lot more to this story. We've talked about it and speculated over it for a few months, but I've really caught a lot of real good information on this story from sources here in Pittsburgh, but also at the league as well. And I'm going to wrap that up Saturday when I get to the stadium and finish this up. But they've got a tall task. They're going to be they're the underdog, and for a reason. This needs to go to penalties unless they can get some sort of direct kick or some sort of corner. They've got to be real tight defensively, and that's been their strong point. Now, conversely, I will say this: Tulsa is riding a 609-minute scoreless streak of their own, and they're extremely good at home. Extremely good at home. They haven't lost since early April at home, so they've got a tall order. They need to go to penalties, I think, to win on Saturday.
Yeah. Trace and Mac, you're still with us. Oh, geez.
Oh.
I'd ask you guys what you think they're going to do against FC Tulsa, but I don't know. Mac, I think you told me you know that the soccer ball is round.
I had a talk with
and they kick it into a net. You know they kick it into a net, right?
Sometimes they kick it in.
When I talked with old Paul Child, I told him that on the golf course.
You golf
I know the ball is round, and that is definitely confirmed.
And it's blown up, not stuffed. Too,
yeah.
And the rest of the world calls it football.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to who was I talking to about that? I said, Australia, Canada, and the U.S. are the only countries that call it soccer. Everywhere else is football. So, Trace, I know. You excited? Are you going to watch the USL Championship, Trace?
Sure, I'll record it. Congratulations to them. Hopefully, they bring it home.
Yeah, it was great. John, wasn't that awesome seeing that? It was just an electric atmosphere. We were stuck in the freaking suites behind everything and missed it all.
I prefer to watch the games over there. No, they benefited from being the better team all 3 times when they played and at home. Okay, look at and then they needed PKs both times in the first 2. They got the goal in the in the 55th minute or whatever it was, and Robbie gets the goal. I mean, it was great atmosphere. It's good. Once they get this new stadium, once they move up to the top level of soccer and they're competing with MLS, we'll see how things play out. They're still a second division type, not second rate, second level team in terms of the others, obviously. And, soccer continues to grow, but once they get the stadium and they're at the top level, we'll see how things maybe change. It'll be an interesting to see over the next 3 years, but they're definitely facing an uphill battle Saturday.
Well, yeah, and I mean Tulsa, 57 points, and the Riverhounds 44. So that's the difference of points.
Absolutely. Again, their plus 20 goal differential is one of the best in the league. They, like I said, they've got strikers that can score. They can put goals in the back of the net at a fairly rapid rate. Taylor's last name is escaping me. Like I said, their leading goal scorer has 18 goals on the year. He's been dominant in terms of his play. I'm trying to remember his name, and I can't remember his name now. But they're definitely, again, Calharia is his name, Taylor Calharia. They have to play for penalties. I really believe that. I don't know if they'll get an opportunity or two to get shots on net. They're going to have to play for penalties. That's how they're going to win this game probably on Saturday.
I agree. All right. Gentlemen, I think that about does it.
Good luck, the Inns, right?
We've got
yes.
we're gonna have Gridiron Weekly tomorrow night at 8 p.m. It's gonna be me and John Rustino doing it. John, you want to go ahead and plug our Steel City Sunday?
Yeah, folks. I mean, if you want a new pregame show covering the Steelers that has Paul Zeiss, that has a former offensive coordinator and head coach in the NFL, and Todd Haley, guys like Jerry DePaula, and young people like Anthony Halkias from Steeler Nation, and Mike Ostie. Mike Ostie, very underrated reporter here in Pittsburgh. I mean, breaks big news. Just real solid young man. And Bill Akins. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Akins, when his camera's working, I should say. Your camera going to work. I'm going to need you. Hey, I'm going to need you to have your camera. Okay, it better be, because I'm going to be on an airplane flying to DC. I'm going to, if I can get some Wi-Fi, I'll join you early. But
it's working now. So knock on. This is wood right here. So I knock
Steel
on
City
it.
Sunday. Steel City Sunday on all the social media sites, folks.
Yeah. So. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week, guys, right? Same lineup?
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Oh, that is Thanksgiving Eve, by the way.
Oh, geez. Yeah, that is Thanksgiving Eve. Well, we might have to switch things up a little bit. Maybe we'll move the show to Tuesday. God. Man, it creeped up on us. So, well,
it did.
We'll try to let's try to move it to Tuesday. I think that would work. So,
cool.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and we will talk to you next week.
See you later.